everybody? Welcome back to Ballers on a Budget. Hope you're ready for week 11 of the NFL season because we're diving in. We're getting into predictions. Thursday night football starts here in about an hour, so the game will already be started before you guys can bet along with me to win some money like I have been lately. It's not a big deal, just overall I'm coming out with a win every week. I'll just throw that out there. Getting into it, first off, we had Titans at Packers. Titans are seated at first in the AFC South right now, and Packers are second in the NFC North. Titans with the 31st pass-rated defense, and Packers with the 26th rush defense. So those are some of the things between the stats that really stood out to me. The kickers I have in this game are the stats to where Packers have a plus 74 point differential in the last two home game against these Titans. And the Titans have allowed 20 points or less and 100 rush yards or less or fewer in the last 6 games. If you can decipher what I just fucking mumbled out there. But these are making me stray away from the spread really, so I'm sticking with the under. The under is 40.5. I'm taking it. 40, 41.5. It'll see what I get. It'll probably drop and stuff before the game actually starts and I can submit my bets. But around there. Spreads at 3. I don't feel comfortable for either team. You just don't know what you're going to get. Next up, we got Browns at Bills. Browns third in the AFC North. And Bills also third. But they're in the AFC East. Browns are allowing 26.4 points allowed per game. That's 31st in the NFL. And the Bills are only allowing 16.8 points per game. That's second in the NFL. So different sides of the spectrum. You know what you're going to get with the fucking Browns when they play. The kickers, Browns have 8.8 points per game when visiting Buffalo since 2019. I mean, no surprise there, really. They just don't score. They're not an offensive team. They're barely a team to begin with. But this game is actually no longer in Buffalo due to the heavy snow and a huge snowstorm predicted in Buffalo. So they moved it to Detroit, and the Browns will still have a blowout score. So, I mean, 8.8 against Buffalo at Buffalo. They're going to Detroit, so maybe one more touchdown. They'll score 15 today. Where's the fucking game? Okay, the spread's at 7.5 right now. I'm taking Bills to cover that 7.5. We're definitely losing by more than one possession. We could not keep up, and our coaching staff is just not smart enough. So take the Bills minus 7.5. The over and under was at 49.5. You just don't know. If Bills aren't forced to score, they won't run up the score, so the over won't hit. So I'm staying away from the over and under. Taking the spread, 7.5. Next up, we got Jets at Patriots. Jets second in the AFC East. Patriots are fourth in the AFC East. So if Patriots win, they can gain a little bit of ground. Obviously, I can't repeat it enough. No Breece Hall for the Jets. And statistically, Jets are better when they don't throw the ball a whole lot with Zach Wilson. When they get over like 300 yards, they have a higher percentage to lose the game. So with no Breece Hall, they're going to keep letting Zach wing it out there. Bad for them. Patriots have beaten this Jets 13 times in a row. And both teams are 4-1 recently in their recent matchups. And the Jets' one of their losses so far is from this Patriots from earlier, a couple weeks ago. So, I mean, I'm taking the Patriots -3 right now for the spread. Let me see what the over is at. I'm sorry, I'm a little jumbled up between paper and computer. Oh, my bad. The over and under is at 38. So, I mean, I don't expect any team to score over 20, let alone both of them scoring over 20. But then again, you never know. Staying away from it. I'm taking a spread. I know at least a 3 will hit. Patriots just have their number. Next up, we got Bears at Falcons. Bears are fourth in the NFC North. Falcons are second in the NFC South. Falcons are allowing more yards and points than the Bears. So I mean that kind of swings it for me. The Falcons can be an exciting team to watch, but they're not going to get a dub at the end of the day, and there's no defense whatsoever for them. But the Bears have a little bit of defense, no pass offense, but they got Justin Fields, one of the best rushing quarterbacks in the league. I usually hate on a guy named Lamar for that reason, but at least Justin Fields doesn't have game plans to go out there and wing the ball. That's different for Lamar. We'll get there. Bears are looking for a third straight win over the Falcons in their recent meetings. Like I said, I think they're going to get it done. I think the Bears are going to get it done, so I took them money line, but I stayed away from the spread on this one. The spread's only sitting at +3 for the Bears. Over and under sitting at 49. I'm taking the over at 49. I really think it's going to be a shootout. Falcons can't stop the run. He's going to rush all day on them out of the pocket. And then Falcons are just going to have to play keep up from there. And then hopefully by the end of the game, we got a shootout or a run out going. You know what I mean? Mario shootout, Fields run out. You know what I mean? So Bears win over at 49. Next up, we got Eagles, first in the NFC East, against the Colts, second in the NFC South. Both defenses are very close on paper. The only big difference is the interception ratio, 13-4, favored by the Eagles. Eagles obviously have a better defense. Offense, Eagles have a strict game plan when they go out there. Let's use Hurts. Let's use our number one wide receiver, A.J. Brown, where the Colts don't know what the hell they're going to do when they get out there. They don't even know what coach they're going to have half the time recently, and then they don't know what quarterback they're going to use. I think Saturday is going to be sticking with Matt Ryan, because when Matt Ryan and Jonathan Taylor are on the field at the same time, they can actually produce wins, unlike any other time. Eagles' first loss of the season came last week, so there's no more undefeated teams in the season. Eagles are looking for 3 straight over the Colts, but every single one of those matchups have came up with 4 points or fewer for the spread each time. So I'm taking the over at 45. That little kicker just made me stay away from the over and under game, and I'm taking the spread. Sits at 6.5. I lied. I'm taking the over. It made me stay away from the spread. Spread sets at 6.5. That kicker, I'm getting so confused. I'm taking the over at 45. You want to take the spread, take the spread. But it's been decided by 4 points or fewer. The spread's greater than 4. So if you want to take the Colts against the spread, that would be a good choice here. I personally stayed away from it. I'm taking the over at 45. It has since changed from my paper to computer to 46. So do what you will. Next up, we got Rams, 4th in the NFC West, visiting the 4th in the NFC South, Saints. Both teams bottom dwellers, so don't expect a blowout, especially from the Saints recently. Rams have no more Cooper Kupp for probably the rest of the season. I heard surgery looming, so who knows there. 68 to 120 rush yards per game is the difference between these teams. Rams cannot have a consistent rusher. They have yet to have a single rusher have 65 yards. A single rusher. They can do that more as a team, but not a single rusher. They need some stability back there. They ain't got nothing. Saints, no Mike Thomas, no surprise there. I just wanted to even it out with both missing their number one. Saints have a 22nd rush defense. Maybe Rams get over that hump and finally get one person over 65. I still think they're going to go by committee and doing with whatever they want. But with no Cooper Kupp, maybe they'll keep the ball on the ground a little more. But they still got Matt Stafford, the gunslinger himself. Saints were outrushed 328 yards over the past 2 weeks. No rushing from them whatsoever since Alvin Kamara's big blow up like 4 weeks ago with a 4-touchdown game. I can't remember who it was against, but since then there's legit been nothing. They've had Andy Dalton trying to just throw it. Rams, already mentioned that about the rusher. Not a single rusher with 65 or over rush yards. Both teams are 1-5 in their recent games. So, I mean, like I said, not a good game to watch, but you can still bet on it nonetheless if you do enough research. I'm taking the Saints for the spread at 3.5. Let me find this one. Oh, there it was. Nope. Yep, Saints right here. I'm taking the Saints to cover the spread at 3.5. Over and under sitting at 39. I'm just staying away from it. I think it's going to be a boring game. They should get out. They might get into a light throwout, but I'm not chancing on it. I'm chancing it being a low-scoring game, and I'm thinking the Saints are going to come out with the win. And 3.5 isn't crazy. I don't like the halves because if they kick a field goal, you can still lose by technically 1 point. There's no reason. There's no way to score a half point, so you lose by a full fucking point. Sucks. It's heartbreaking, but I'm taking it during this game. The Rams they're done for the season. Next up, we got the third and NFC North Lions versus the Giants, who sit at second in the NFC East. Lions have the 32nd ranked defense and the 9th ranked offense as a whole. Giants, 164 rush yards per game. That's third in the NFL. So, I mean, Giants are just going to run all over this Lions team. Giants only averaging 32, only allowing 32 to 74. That's a 43% conversion to opposing teams on third downs. That's the lowest percentage since 1998. The Giants are also 7-1 against non-divisional opponents this year. The one loss outside division was coming to Seattle. Giants are a hell of a surprising team this year. No one would have expected it. Lions, we've expected this much. The only thing we didn't expect that their rush game wouldn't be nowhere in sight. Jamal Williams is finally coming along, but they had DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams all season. What's going on there? Lions can't get it together. They can be one of the high-powered offensive teams in the league, but it doesn't translate in the dub, so it doesn't matter. When the leak is so bad on defense, when the leak in the boat is so bad that when you're paling water, the level of the water still rising inside the boat, it's time to abandon ship. And that's what the Lions should do, somewhere along the lines with some of these defensive players. I'm taking the over at 45. The spread sits at 3. I'm just taking the over. Like I said, Detroit Lions have a great offense. New York Giants have a good offense. Detroit Lions bad defense. So let's make that Giants kick it over 45. Let's get it. Next up, we got Panthers, third in NFC South versus the Ravens, who are currently first in the AFC North. This is a third meeting between these two all time. And between both teams recently, they're 1-1. So, I mean, no kickers to go off of this game. The only big fucking punch in the nose I'm seeing is a Baker starting. I like Baker, but he hasn't produced whatsoever being a Carolina Panther. I thought P.J. Walker was doing great, but he's out due to injury. They're sticking with Baker, and they're going to come out with a flat-ass cake because he's going to forget the flour or something. I don't know. Ravens, 92 rush yards allowed per game so far this year. That's third in the NFL. Great rush defense, and that's the only thing these Panthers have to rely on. Donta Freeman has been incredible since the trade of CMC. It's going to be cold out, and these AFC North teams, we like to play. Panther, we all get cold weather. They all do, unless you're in a dome like a little bitch. And then it really stands out. But Ravens excel in this cold weather. They can run the ball. They can run over the Panthers. Panthers aren't running over the Ravens. I'm taking the over at 41. I'm avoiding the spread in this game. It sits at 13. That's why. I do not like double-digit spreads. I've only taken them so far this year against the Steelers because that team is so dysfunctional. I know Panthers aren't too far off, but especially with Baker, I probably should have taken the spread. But nope, I'm staying away from the spread, especially 13. Steelers have been like 10.5, 11, that stuff. This is 13. I stayed away from the Bills, who had a double-digit spread, and I nailed it on that one, so I'm staying away from this one. I'm taking the over at 41. I'm kind of rethinking that. I should have taken the under. I already locked the bet, so there's no doing that. I'm going to rethink until the game starts, okay? Then I'll be confident. Should have taken the under, maybe. Baker can't score. Ravens don't need to score. Panthers' defense is the bright side of that ball club. Maybe should have taken the under. I'm taking the over at 41. Next up, we got Commanders, 4th in the AFC East, and the Texans, 4th in the AFC South. Commanders beat the only undefeated team last week. We already mentioned the Eagles. Just dominated them. Time of possession. Just the kicker, Joey Slythe, made 50-plus yarders. Incredible. There's something historic going on with that kick stat, but I didn't dig into it that much. But incredible. Commanders got it done. They got the win. And against a Texans team that are allowing 181 rush yards per game, that's 32nd in the NFL. Antonio Gibson's going to have himself a day. That's what I'm hoping anyways. Weather's about to be good, around 50. Not much to this game. Texans are boring as shit. Commanders they're a spark. They're a spark. But they're both bottom-dwelling teams again. So I'm taking Commanders against the spread, not against the spread, to cover the spread at 3. Let me see where the over and under is sitting at. Whoa, where? Oh, I'm just overlooking everything. Like I said, I'm taking the Commanders at 3, and then the over and under sitting at 41. I don't know how offensively or defensively either of these teams can be predicted. You've seen the Commanders be unpredictable last week and beat the Eagles. Aside from that, we all thought we had them locked, knew what they were going to be all year. We thought their defense coming into the year was going to have a great pass rush. Nope, that's not there either. So both teams insanely unpredictable. Texans can score when they want to. We can't seem to predict that yet either. So I'm staying away from the over and under. I'm taking the Commanders to at least win by a field goal minimum. I'll take it. Next up, we got the 4th in the AFC West Raiders versus the 3rd in the AFC West Broncos. Raiders are completely atrocious this year from what my beginning of the year prediction was going to be for the Raiders. I at least had Raiders in the playoffs. No, I was so wrong there. Broncos, 14 points per game. That's only 32nd in the NFL. Dead last offensive-wise, scoring points. But defensively, they're only allowing teams to score 16.6 points per game. That's first in the NFL. So they have a stifling scoring-wise defense, but they can't put up their own points to save their own lives, so it's not translating in any wins. Defense usually wins you ball games, but that's if your offense can produce as well. Broncos can't do that this year. Sorry, Russ. Las Vegas beat the Broncos already this year, and they also won the last 5 meetings. That's what's making me take the Raiders this year against the rest of the population of the world. Consensus, anyways. Derek Carr, he cried on national television, and then Russell Wilson was said to be using wrong code words to teammates, and they don't know what the hell he's talking about half the time. I take 2 takeaways from this. 1, Russ is overconfident, thinking he knows more than what he does. Common mistake. Derek Carr, insanely emotional. He wants a win. This is a team he knows he can win against. Take the Raiders. I'm taking the Raiders, plus 2.5. Spread sitting at 41. I should take the under in this as well, just because of the Broncos' stifling defense and they can't score. So that stat alone lets me know that under may hit in any single game. But I don't like it. I like the upset. I like the Raiders, even to cover. Even if they lose and I lose my money line pick for the Raiders and they lose by at least 1 or 2, I'm locked there. I would have liked it if the spread was at 3, but I'll take the Raiders, plus 2.5. Next up, we got Cowboys 3rd, NFC East, and the Vikings 1st in the NFC North by 4 games. So, geez, they got a huge gain. Nothing to lose really here other than Kirk chains. You know, they may take a chain off Kirk. Plane ride home won't be as enjoyable anymore. Cowboys, they're the league leader in sacks, sitting at 35 total. And Vikings are allowing 381 yards per game. That's 29th in the NFL. That just lets me know they have to eke out these games every damn time. You've seen what they did last week. They were in the game of the year. Justin Jefferson coming up with probably the best catch ever. I don't know about ever, just because the defense was so involved compared to OBJ's one-handed catch. Justin Jefferson's was insanely different on a different scale and just a crazy catch. So I don't know if you can put those two into categories, but I'm calling it the greatest catch ever. Help or not from the defense. I don't know if the defense helped. I don't know if the defense, if he would have came down with a one-handed snag and the no defense be there, that would have been even better. You beat OBJ. But the defense was there. He had hands on it. We don't personally know if the defense helped or not. Justin Jefferson's a fucking dog. The last 6 meetings between these two teams were decided by 4 points or fewer. So, I mean, the spread was, depending on the spread, it was huge for me for this kicker. Vikings game of the year last week versus the Bills. We already mentioned, got the win. Kirk Chainz rolls on. Cowboys, they blow a 14-point fourth quarter lead last week to the Packers. I don't see them doing that again. They're going to come out hard hitting, and they're going to punch this overconfident Vikings team in the mouth. I don't say they're overconfident that they're not one of the best teams in the league. Top 3, top 4, hands down, no doubt about it. But I'm saying overconfident. You can't just throw that many chains on a white guy and think that he's not going to fail at some point. And some point soon. His shoulders get heavy. I don't know if Kirko's built like that. We'll see. I'm taking the Cowboys -1 for the spread. The razor thin margin. I mean, this game is a pretty much pick 'em up for grabs. It sits at a spread right now, so I'm taking the Dallas -1. Over and under sitting at 47.5. I'm just staying away from it. This game could be all defense. I'm talking 9-12, or it could be all offense, 32-35. Reminiscent of last week's overtime win, but this one won't go to overtime. Cowboys are taking it by 1. Next up, we got Bengals 2nd in the AFC North and Steelers 4th in the AFC North. I mean, on paper, this game doesn't look close, but we know how the AFC North plays so close to each other. It's ridiculous. And stats and predetermined things just go out the window when they play interdivision like this. Bengals 286 pass yards per game. That's 4th in the NFL. Steelers, big kicker, TJ Watt is back. I believe that was the sole reason they won last week. 15.6 points per game. That's 31st in the NFL. You got to step it up, Mike Tomlin. That's why I bet against you twice on double-digit spreads. I'm sorry. And I won both of them, just so you know. Bengals are converting 49.6% of third down attempts. It's one of the most in the NFL. Joe Mixon had 5 touchdowns last game. Look for him to be very low today. Steelers got a defense still. And like I said, TJ Watt's back. Bengals are intriguing. I'm not 100% sure on the Jamar Chase ledge. I mean, he's playing, he's not playing. I've been hearing from all the Bengals fans that Jamar Chase is playing, man. He's playing. He's going to be out there. He's playing. But I haven't seen anything in real life. So I'm counting Jamar Chase out for this game. It's going to be cold, just how the AFC North likes it. I took the under at 41. Steelers can't score themselves. They have a good defense. And I think if the Bengals are going to win this game, they're going to do it and they're not going to chance too much. Don't run up the score. Let's get time of possession. Make it a real factor in this game. And Bengals eke out the win. Maybe 17-14, 20-17, 20-14, somewhere along those lines. Bengals get the win, but I'm taking the under at 41. Next up, we got Chiefs first in the AFC West versus Chargers second in the AFC West. This is going to be a great matchup, you would think. But the Chargers are so banged up defensively. I don't trust Herbert. He's on I benched him fantasy-wise. I benched Herbert for Dak. I had to do it. Chiefs, 30 points per game. That's first in the NFL. And only 99 rush yards allowed per game. That's fifth in the NFL. I never would have thought you would have had this stifling rush defense from the Chiefs. Normally, you can count on the Chiefs being insanely high-powered offensively, but defense, they always going to fall short. Not this year. They're looking insanely impressive. Chargers, on the other hand, they're allowing 146 rush yards per game. That's 30th in the NFL. And they're only rushing 84 yards per game. And that's with Austin Eckler, who was a dog last year. Didn't get his first touchdown until like week 4 this year. Something's different with this team. I don't know. I had high hopes for them coming in. They were my Super Bowl pick. If I had to pick one before coming into the season, it was the Chargers. Now the defense is banged up as always. I thought it was going to be different. I'm wrong. They're killing me. Chiefs are 5-0 versus the Chargers on the road, and Chargers are 22-35 against divisional opponents. So they just when they're in divisions, they don't perform. I don't know what's going on with the Chargers. You have a loss for me. I'm taking the Chiefs to cover the spread at 5. Over and under sits at 52. A little bit too high for my blood just because I know the Chargers can throw a dud out at any minute. Then the Chiefs won't need to do much for half the game. I don't know. I'm not chancing it. I took the Chiefs to win by 5. That's about the only sure thing. Next up, we got 49ers at Cardinals. Next up, and when I say next up, this is the last Monday night game. 49ers. For some reason, I don't have their standing ranks in here. So, 49ers versus the Cardinals. 49ers, 280 yards allowed per game. That's first in the NFL. And the Cardinals are 11-3 against the 49ers since 2015. Now, that scared me at first. That really scared me at first. But then I started diving into some of these bet slips, the over and under, money line and everything. And I'm taking the 49ers to win. I'm taking the 49ers to win. I have to. I'm hearing rumblings of the new Call of Duty came out, so maybe Kyler Murray's still going to be a little lackluster from last year. 49ers look to be on a damn good pace, regardless. I mean, they got Jimmy G back, and it looked like they've reverted back to the exact same team they were last year. Their defense is slowly catching on. I think the 49ers will pull this game out money line. But I am taking the Cardinals to cover the spread at +8. So I'm taking the Cardinals to lose, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a loss. I think it's going to be a 6-point loss, 5 maybe, less than that. So +8, over and under sitting at 43. With the 49ers, I hate to go against over and under with 49ers in general. Most of the time they're hitting the unders, but it a lot of times depends on their opponents. And I don't know enough about the Cardinals to predict it. San Francisco 49ers are way too unpredictable as it is. I don't want to get into that over and under battle. I'm taking the spread and Cardinals to cover it +8. There we go. First game of the week, Titans versus Packers are about to start soon. Hopefully I'll have this uploaded before they start. Maybe not. I got a little bit of editing to do, but we'll see. Hope you guys liked it. Let me know what you guys think. If you think I talk too fast, let me know. I think when I talk fast, I get more of a flow, and things just come out more naturally. You know what I mean? Hopefully, you know what I mean. But I hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe. Ballers on a Budget, YouTube, Facebook, the TikTok, and good old Twitter. Peace.